الرحيم وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا فإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. استغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمن بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم الأمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, Allah's fazl, Allah's blessing, that Allah has given us the opportunity to be here again, once again. And my dear brothers, one thing that we always take pride in is the fact that Allah has given us the opportunity to come to the masjid. And you know, it's a privilege, it's a blessing and it's a privilege, and we should take pride in it. And I know when we are young, especially when we are immature, we think that our parents push us to come to the masjid, or sometimes they will push us to come and sit in the gathering and listen to the Quran dars. But inshallah, you will realize, as you will grow up, you will realize that all of these things that we are learning, it will somehow stay with you, inshallah, in your life. And in the future, when you will go through different phases of your life, when you become more and more mature, these things that you are learning right now, they will become a source of guidance for all of you. And it only happens because Allah gives you and me the opportunity to be here. So let's be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the ayah that I want to share with all of you is verse number, I'm getting blind by the way, so if I say a wrong verse, please correct me afterwards. But what I can see right now, it says to me 63, verse number 63 from Surah Al-Furqan. Surah Al-Furqan is the 25th chapter of the Quran. 25th chapter, verse number 63. By the way, my brothers, the reason I tell you these ayat and the number of ayat is because you write it down, or you make a mental note or something, you do something with that, and you go back home and you memorize these ayat. And you recite them regularly in your salah. So you keep reminding yourself what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about these ayat. Because remember, we started this routine after this New Year thing, because we made a New Year resolution that we will try to understand the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as we can. And the reason we made this intention, because in the book of Allah, the reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to come back to the book of Allah is because Allah wants us to get rid of our heedlessness, our ghafla. And you and me, we all are guilty of that. You know, you can find a bigger scholar of Islam, and there are moments in his life when he is ghafil, when he is heedless. And you can find an average Muslim who's probably not a very practicing Muslim, and he's going through the same kind of problem. This is the biggest problem that you and I, we all face, and we all are guilty of. And in order to get rid of that problem, you have to come to the book of Allah, and I have to come to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So alhamdulillah, you all are making time. You all are making time, you all are coming. There's almost a storm going on outside. There was a Brexit war. There were all these things going on. And you know, you were not distracted by all of these things. You ignored all of these things, and you make time, you make it a point, and you come to the masjid. It's very important that you make a mental note of the ayah that we are going to understand. And alhamdulillah, we have these recordings, so you can go back to these recordings whenever you want to. But you make a mental note of this ayah, and you make some kind of effort on your part. You have a whole week until next Tuesday, inshallah. You have a whole week until next Tuesday, and it's only one line. Memorize this line. Share the meaning of this line with your children when you go back home, with your wife when you go back home. Make them memorize it. You memorize it as well. Every single night, just sit down with your family, with your kids. Sit down for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes. You sit down with your family and you revise this ayah. You read this ayah with them, and you try to remind them about the meaning of this ayah. And you try to remind yourself about the meaning of this ayah. And wallahi, whatever we are learning from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it applies to all of us. Don't you think when you understand some ayah of the Quran that, you know, the guy sitting next to me, this ayah applies to him, because that's what we do. When we learn anything from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't think of ourselves, right? If we are being honest, we don't think of ourselves. Whenever we learn lessons from the book of Allah, we think that we don't need that lesson. But I need to make the recording of this lesson so that I can go and share it with my friend who is going through that problem. We always think like that. No. First and foremost, Allah is addressing you and me. This ayah is for you and me, first and foremost. So understand that ayah, memorize that ayah, keep reminding ourselves about that ayah, and slowly but surely, we have 8 weeks left before the month of Ramadan. Slowly but surely, you will realize that there are so many ayat that you will start learning. There are so many ayat and lessons that you will start learning. And if you start applying them in your life, inshallah, you will see, definitely you will see a change in your life, inshallah. So are we ready for this now? So verse number what? Tell me again.
63.
Chapter number?
25.
Let's do it again. Verse number 63, chapter number? 25. Very small ayah, but very interesting ayah. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described people who He calls Ibadur Rahman. Ibadur Rahman. Allah has many names. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can call people the slaves of Allah, or the slaves of the Creator, or the slaves of the wise. Allah can call them with any name. But when Allah call His people, when Allah call His slave, the slaves of Ar-Rahman, Ibadur Rahman, it is as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is suggesting that these people have a special relationship with me based on my love, mercy and care. So the slave of the one who cares a lot, the slave of the one who loves a lot, the slave of the one who shows mercy unimaginably. These are the slaves that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about, and these are special slaves of Allah. These are special believers. All believers, alhamdulillah, are special, but these believers are extra, what do you call it, super duper kind of special, awesome kind of special. These are really good people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes these people. The first quality that describes these people, this is the quality that I want to share with all of you tonight. The first quality that describes them, that makes them earn this title, Ibadur Rahman. It's a big title. Allah doesn't give it to everybody. It's a big title. The thing that makes them earn this title is what? الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. They walk with humility on this earth. When they walk on this earth, they walk with humility. Hawna in Arabic language means soft, something that is soft. If you put it in the context of this ayah, Allama Zamakhshari rahmatullah alayhi mentioned different meanings. I'm just going to share two meanings with you. Hawna means that you acknowledge your weaknesses. When you walk on this earth, you acknowledge your weaknesses. See, when you and I, we achieve something, we accomplish something, we feel a sense of pride, we feel a sense of strength, power and empowerment. These are the very moments when we need to acknowledge the fact that we are humble. We need to acknowledge our humility. We need to acknowledge the fact that everything that I am is because of Allah and not because of me. That's what it means. When they walk on this earth, they walk with humility. They acknowledge their weaknesses. That's the first meaning. The second meaning of Hawna is that they do not demonstrate their strengths in front of other people. And this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks again and again in the Quran, in many occasions. For example, when Allah talks about children and how they should behave in front of their parents, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, especially when they become old, it's a whole passage, I don't want to go into passage, but I just want to highlight one thing. Especially when they become old, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُوفٍ, don't say oof to them, especially when they become old. And then Allah continues, and Allah says, وَخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ, you should spread the wings of your humility before your parents, especially when they become old. Why? Why? Because when they are old, you are young. You are an adult. Now you have your own job. You have a career. You have, mashallah, money. You have your car. You have your house. Mashallah, you are independent. But your parents are old. They are retired. And they are living in this one house who is probably no one is looking after them. No one thinking. They are weak. So you are in a position of strength now. And they are in a position of weakness. But it doesn't mean that you flip your fingers, what do you call it? Flap your wings in front of them too much. You need to chill out. And you better be humble in front of them, especially when they are old. Don't show your strength in front of your parents. Be humble in front of your parents. You know, some of you brothers probably know, 2-3 weeks ago, I went to London with my family for some family commitments, for a family function. We went to London, and the guy who picked us up, because this is my in-laws, so I don't know everyone there personally, and this is the second time I was meeting the family. So the guy who picked us up from the airport, I didn't know him. He drove us around. He took care of each and everything. And you know, he was literally behaving like a servant. He drove us around to all the places for food, for fun, you know, for different lectures, he took us everywhere. And he was so humble, like, he was always, can I do anything for you? Is there anything else that I can do for you? Can I get you some water? Can I get you some food? Can I get you this? Can I get you that? He was so humble. And towards the end of my trip, I realized, and I got to know about it, that person, his business is worth almost 700 million pounds. His business. His business is worth 700 million pounds. And I was completely blown away by it. It was completely unfathomable for me to understand, how can this work on this earth? How does this work on this earth? Where do you get this humility from? I know people who make 100,000 pounds. I know them, and no offense to anyone, it's a reality, and you probably will agree with me. I know people who make 100,000 pounds and they think that they own the world. Their salary go over 6 digits, a little bit 6 digits. You know what I'm talking about, right? 6 digits, and they think they own the world. They know everything and they own the world. That's how people behave in this world. And maybe if I get to that stage, maybe I start thinking like that. I'm not making fun of them, but this is a reality. This is our nature. This is how we insan are, human beings are. But this person, his humility, wallahi, it shattered me. It shattered me, I'm telling you. I kept thinking, how can this work in this world? How in the world it can work? I kept thinking to myself, and then I was reminded, today when I was preparing this lecture, then I was reminded of that example. Wa ibadur Rahman, the slaves of Ar-Rahman, they learn how to be humble on this earth. They understand that. And humility, by the way, when I say humility, it doesn't only mean the demonstration of your financial strength. It can also mean the demonstration of your physical strength. You know, when we pump our body and we make muscles and then we start wearing the t-shirts of our younger brothers. So that, you know, it fits us and we can show our muscles and we can show our body and our abs all the time. It can mean that as well, intimidation. You know, it can also mean the demonstration of you probably having the ability, you know, to out-talk someone. You know, you are one of those people who are very aggressive, who are very outspoken, maybe. And maybe, you know, you like to make jokes on other people, and maybe you know how to put people in their places, especially in public setting. Maybe you are one of those people. Don't do that. You need to chill out. Hold yourself back. Because if you do that, this is also an expression of arrogance, because you are overpowering someone with your tongue. You can overpower people with your mouth. You shouldn't do that. You know, sometime, and it happens to me all the time, sometime, you know, we know a thing or two about a certain area, about a certain field, and we start asking questions. Why? You know why? Because we want to stump someone with our knowledge. We want to stump someone with our knowledge. You don't need to know. If you know something, that's good for you. You don't have to go and tell everyone what you know. Or you don't have to go and tell everyone about your credentials. You don't have to do that at every juncture. You know, a teacher's responsibility is not to tell his students how much I know. That's not a teacher's responsibility. A teacher's responsibility is to teach his kids, to try his best to teach his kids. So you don't need to tell other people what your strengths are. By the way, as a matter of fact, in some cases, Allah actually encourages us to hide our abilities. When we know that our abilities can become a source of intimidation for other people, Allah actually suggests us to hide our abilities, to keep ourselves low. What do you call it? Low profile. To keep yourself low profile. This is why إِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. That when they walk with humility. That was the first ayah. That was the first part of the ayah. The second part of the ayah is actually my favorite part. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ. Wallahi, I need this more than anyone else. I need this more than anyone else. But listen to this carefully now. I'm only going to take 5 to 10 minutes more, inshallah. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. Every single word of this ayah, this part of the ayah needs our attention. So I will go through very, very quickly. Iza, when. Remember I told you a difference between when and if in the last lecture? If means what? When Allah says if, it means what? There is a possibility it may happen and it may not. When Allah says Iza, when, then it's inevitable. It is going to happen. You will run into that situation. So what is that situation that Allah is going to describe now? خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ. When people who don't have any control over their emotions. When people, jahil is someone who doesn't have any control over his emotion. A person who is outrageous, who is obnoxious in the things that he says, in the way he acts, in the way he behaves himself, in the way he carries himself. When these kinds of people, they come and talk to you. And this will happen, brothers. This will happen to all of us. We have to deal with difficult people in our life. This is a fact of reality. There is no way around. This is going to happen. That's why Allah says Iza. And by the way, here, those of you who know Arabic language, you will appreciate that. خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ. You know, in English, grammatically speaking, in English, you have a verb and then you have a subject. What you call doer. There is a verb, there is a subject, and there is an object. That's how you construct a sentence, right? In this ayah, you know the subject is not us. or the subject is not Ibadur Rahman. The subject here, the doer here is Jahil, the ignorant person. Which means what? You don't go and seek their attention. You don't go and talk to the Jahil, to the ignorant person. You don't go and seek their attention. You don't go and try to talk to them. They will come and talk to you. They will come and seek your attention. They are the doers here. So even if you don't go looking for them, they will come to you. Even if you don't go looking for trouble, trouble will come to you. And this is trouble Allah is talking about. When Jahil talk to you, when uncontrolled, unlettered, uncivilized, when this kind of a person come and talk to you, خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. What do you do then? قَالُوا سَلَامًا. Two translations here. Ibn Kathir rahmatullah. Two translations here. Number one, قَالُوا سَلَامًا. You say peace. Peace means what? You say to him, in other words, you say to him, you can understand it in this way, that you say to him, you know brother, I don't think it's a good time to talk about this issue, maybe some other time. And you walk yourself out of the conversation. You walk yourself out of the conversation. You don't hear something stupid and you say, how stupid you are. Let me put you in your place. You don't engage. You don't engage. You hear something ridiculous, you walk away. You say peace and you walk away. Nowadays, it's not only about having a conversation with someone. You're talking to someone in a conversation. What about our WhatsApp groups? Huh? I hate WhatsApp groups. Wallahi, I hate them. I have so many of them. If you check my WhatsApp now, it may have thousands of messages that I don't read. I hate WhatsApp group. Why? Because somebody sent something, Loji, let's go now. Everyone leaves everything else and they start discussing. And they start picking on each other, they start criticizing each other, they become critical of each other. Under YouTube videos, you see those comments. You know what, Wallahi, I should mention me and my family before I talk about other people. My own family, I'm not going to tell you who in my family, but my own family, their pastime, entertainment, the thing that they love most is that they go on, nowadays, Instagram, right? So they don't check the pictures of the people. They check the comments in the pictures. They check the comments. They enjoy the comments more. The trolling and all of these things. This ayah applies there as well nowadays, in my humble opinion. I may be wrong. You don't have to address any of these issues. Don't. Just leave them alone. And of course, in this ayah, let's talk about in a private setting, when you are, interpersonally having a conversation, exchanging a conversation with someone, when you see that person going out of the line, you back off. You say peace and you back off. You don't engage. You don't. That's what Qalu Salam means. It happens in the masjid many times. It happened in front of me in the month of Ramadan. And I've seen people getting into that. Sometimes you come to the masjid, maybe you don't really come to the masjid in the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is coming, inshallah. So you come to the masjid, and wallahi, it happens in Ramadan. Asr prayer upstairs in the main hall, after Asr Salah, it happens. You come to the masjid and you start praying your Salah, and maybe some elderly fellow, maybe some uncle, masjid uncle, he's not in a good mood. So he sees you reading your Salah and you're reading your Salah differently. He doesn't like it. So he comes to you and he says to you, don't you know how to read your Salah? Don't you know how to stand up in Salah? Look at your trouser, look at your shirt. When you go into your sajda, you are revealing your back. It's spoiling my Salah, it's spoiling everyone's Salah. Get out of here, astaghfirullah. You don't misbehave. You don't say to the uncle, uncle, watch it. I don't need your nasiha. I'm here to pray my Salah. You mind your business, I mind my business. And you walk away. You don't do that. You make dua for the uncle. You understand where he's coming from. He's an old man. You understand where he's coming from. You let him say whatever he wants to say. And then you go into the corner and you read your Salah. And you complete your Salah. And you make dua for the uncle. It's difficult. I know it's difficult. But that's what you do if you want to become Ibadur Rahman. Qalu salam, peace. You get yourself out of the situation. That's the first meaning. That you say peace and you walk out of the situation. The other meaning of Qalu salama is that these Ibadur Rahman, they learn how to speak peacefully. What does it mean? It means that, you are in a situation where someone is talking to you in a very aggressive way, in a very angry way. They are talking to you with a lot of arrogance. And they're talking to you almost in a way that they want to get some reaction out of you. Sometimes people talk to you in a way that they want to get some reaction out of you. But you just talk peacefully to them. You know how to talk peacefully. You don't let them get to you or get under your skin. And it's not like, when Allah says, Qalu salam, it's not like you have to go out of your way to hold yourself back and to hold your feelings back. And it's really difficult to control your temper and to control your emotions. No, you have learned how to be tolerant all the time. You have learned this quality and you know how to be tolerant. So when people talk to you in a way, you know how to deal with that situation in the most logical, in the most rational, in the most peaceful manner. You know how to do that. This is the first quality of Ibadur Rahman. And this is a da'wah, my brothers, in and of itself. You need that quality and I need that quality. This is a da'wah. You know, in the passage, it's a long passage. Allah describes many things about Ibadur Rahman. They pray Qiyamul Layl, they wake up for Tahajjud, they give money for the sake of Allah. Allah describes all of these things for Ibadur Rahman. But what's the first description? What's the first description? They don't put other people down. That's the first description. If the other people put them down, they deal with the situation peacefully. And if they don't know how to deal with the situation peacefully, they say peace and they walk away. They get out of the situation. They walk out of the situation. You know, a scholar from, because I know some people are falling asleep, it may get might get boring sometimes. So just this funny story and then I'm done, inshallah. There was a scholar from Pakistan who came here. He's a very well-known scholar. His name is Mulana Jamil. So he was telling a story. And he said, you know, he was talking about ikhlaqiyat and character and the manners and how we should deal with each other and things like that. And you know, in typical Pakistani homes, back home and here as well, nowadays there's a lot of problems that start happening as soon as you get married and now you have your wife in the house, things start happening, especially between mother-in-law and the, you know, daughter-in-law. And so he said that, you know, one time a lady came to me and she said, Mulana Saab, give me some kind of wazifa, give me some kind of a ta'weez. You guys know what ta'weez is? Give me some kind of a dua, tell me something. I always get into arguments with my, you know, mother-in-law. So tell me something that I read and blow on her and she become peaceful. And she doesn't get into arguments with me, she doesn't fight with me, and she gets along with, just give me something. So the Mullah Tajmi Sahib said, he said, you know, I had a piece of paper. So I rolled that piece of paper and I gave it to her. And I said, this is a ta'weez. Every single time when your mother-in-law comes to you and she starts shouting at you, or yelling at you, or she starts fighting with you, you put this under your tongue and just keep it under your tongue. And keep it under your tongue until she's talking to you. And when she's done, when she's finished, when she's calmed down, then you take it out and you put it away. And then you come back to me and I will give you another ta'weez. Just do that. Do that for a month and then you will see the difference. And subhanAllah, she started doing that. Obviously, when someone is shouting at you and you're not giving any kind of reaction, you're not giving any kind of response, that person is going to give up eventually. She's not going to say anything to you. She's going to give up eventually. So after a month's time, you know, alhamdulillah, she's getting along with her mother-in-law and no problem. She said, Mulana Saab, Maza, Kamal ka wazifa. It was brilliant. It was awesome. You know, I really liked that. Really enjoyed it. That's what Allah is telling us here. When you get into that kind of situation, either you keep your peace, you deal with the situation in the most rational way. If you know you can't, just say salam and walk out of the situation. So now we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, to give us the wisdom, to give us the common sense to act upon this ayah. Give us the quality of character to act upon this ayah. It's very easy to recite these ayah. It's very easy to memorize this ayah. Very easy to listen to this ayah, to talk about this ayah. But when it comes to our family, when it comes to our friends, when it comes to our workplaces, when it comes to all of these other things, you know, acting upon this ayah is a different thing altogether. It's a different thing altogether. So are we ready for this, inshallah? You need this ayah and I need that ayah, inshallah. Verse number again?
63.
Chapter number?
25.
Exactly.